Time for the Louwdown on mental health with Louw Breytenbach, of course. And today talking about the effects of exercise on your mental health. Now that should be a good thing, I would say. Louw, hello.
Hi, Ian. I hope that you are well today. I must say I'm not sitting ready in my gym gear, but mentally I'm ready for a chat on exercise and mental health. So hopefully this chat motivates me as well.
Now, anyone who follows you on social media will know that you love exercising. Well, if you look at your looks and the way your body is, it would seem that you enjoy exercise. I don't know how to say
so much, but that is the funny part. That's the funny part is I think I look okay, and on social media people tell me I look okay, and that's all cool. But I really hated exercise till very recently. And just again, as a disclaimer, like I always say at the beginning of the show, I'm not a mental health practitioner. I'm not a psychologist or a psychiatrist. And with this one, I definitely need to say I'm also not a dietitian. But what I am is someone who has been battling with mental health diagnosis for my 8 disorders for almost 3 decades now, and I have an absolute love and passion for mental health, and that's why we founded the Gate of Hope project to create more awareness for mental health. And interestingly enough, it is so mind-blowing that what you put into your body and the food you eat and the exercises you do, or the lack of exercise that you do, how that can contribute to stresses and anxiety and ultimately depression as well.
Sure. So can you tell us what we must look out for and what we must avoid? Would that be fast food, I suppose, and sugary?
Absolutely. So, like any dietitian ought to tell you, so it would usually be your foods with bad fats in them, any processed foods, a lot of time foods like heavy meats or bread and bread-heavy products, like pizza, for instance, can cause you to feel very bloated, very down. It makes you feel weighed down as well. And especially when you have sugary drinks or stuff like caffeine, it boosts the hormones and the feel-good effect for a little bit, and the caffeine levels shoot up and you feel great for a little bit, and then it's that ultimate crashing down that leaves you in a depression. So it's basically all the foods that we know we should avoid, we just don't. So what I usually say is have your treat when you have your treat, but just be aware that there are foods that can aid our mental health and foods that are kinder to our bodies to digest and that will make you feel lighter and aid your mood. And these foods that we need to take more in would be stuff like your healthy fats like avocado, fish. Salmon is a wonderful source of all the omegas. So when I'm having a down day, I usually have some salmon and avo on toast, but I usually use a rye bread then, and a very small piece of rye bread, so that it's not a stacked salmi that's going to make you feel weighed down. What's also very good for you is your berries. Of course, they produce high antioxidants. So our blueberries, our blackberries, our strawberries, raspberries, those are the kinds we need to nibble on when we feel peckish during a low day or a bad mental health day. And then, of course, our nuts also are good fats and a good source of protein. So if you can have a scoop of peanut butter ready, have that sugar-free peanut butter ice cream that some of our stores sell, if you can have that ready when you have a low day, and if you can just have some peanuts or macadamia nuts in the cupboard to snack on when you're having a low day, that is also great. And then, of course, always your green veggies. So that's your broccoli, your spinach, your cauliflower is white. Wat is die ander enetjie?
Ek weet nie,
Sorry.
Kom maar.
Mine just blank. Kale, no, well, cucumber is actually just as good as well, because cucumber lowers antioxidants in the body, and because it has so much water, it helps your body to get rid of the toxins. So yes, cucumber is wonderful as well. Okay. The one I was looking for, however, is kale. Kale is also wonderful.
Oh, yes. Kale.
Yes. So if you're having a bad mental health day, it's good to treat yourself with a smoothie or two. If you don't like those fruits and veggies on their own, then just whop them all in a blender and take them down in one shot. And on those days, also make sure that you get ample rest and enough sleep. I think sleep is one of the biggest contributors to having a bad day, and to guarantee that you will have a bad day the following day is if you have a lack of sleep the previous night. So usually by experts, it is advised to have at least 7 hours per night of sleep. Anything less than that can help the levels in your body to shift, and can then obviously lead to a decline of feel-good hormones in the body.
Yeah, so, I think a lot of people would just feel better if they slept more, but they sort of, they say like, we get away with 4 hours of sleep a night, and the one thing I usually hear is my body is so used to it by now that I can get away with 4 hours of sleep. But to me, if I have 4 hours of sleep, you don't even want to be around me.
Oh, no, absolutely. And I think that's the problem, is what you mentioned right there, is we've gotten so used to it, or my body's so used to it. Our body is also not used to exercising. Our bodies are also used to binge watching a Netflix series in one go. Our bodies are used to choosing the easy route when it comes to food and stopping at McDonald's, because it's easier than prepping food 8 o'clock at evening after a long work day.
Yeah.
But the problem is that the things that we are used to is not the things that are aiding us to have a better lifestyle and a more conscious lifestyle of how we can improve our mental health. And if we really are serious about our own mental health, we have to address the lifestyle concerns that go hand in hand with these disorders. And I'm not saying that when you sleep your 7 hours and you eat your kale and you hit the gym, suddenly your depression is going to disappear. But I can testify just from own accord the effect that these lifestyle changes have had in my own life, and how the food that I eat and the exercises that I do daily help me to build up the self-esteem, the feel-good hormones, and the energy in the body to walk it out day by day when I have those low days, and to pick myself up and to know that I have strength, I have resilience. There is a commitment to a healthier lifestyle, and because I'm committed to that lifestyle, I also don't want to let myself down. So when I have down days, I do everything in my power to get back up on that bicycle again.
They say you need to at least give yourself a winning chance, because, we don't sleep a lot, we don't exercise. So how are we going to cope with all these things? At least give yourself a chance to win, like you just said there, Louw. But what about those days where you just want to be in bed and you really don't feel like exercising? Maybe, especially in the winter or even in the summer, you don't want to sweat that much. What do you do? How do you stay motivated?
So what I do is very different than what your normal advice would be, because I would normally go to gym, hail, wind, hellfire, whatever comes my way, just because I can't cope without that little bit of a mental break. But for the average Joe listening to this, exercise can seem like something very scary. It's very intimidating walking into a gym. It's very frustrating to sometimes just put on clothing to go in gym.
Yeah.
So what I would say is just get moving. Nationally, we believe that 20 to 30 minutes of exercise daily is what you need to produce those feel-good endorphins. So as long as you move for 20 to 30 minutes in your day, that already will have a mood-boosting effect. So we sometimes think about exercise as lifting weights and sweating and running around, and it's this effort, and we've been conditioned to believe that it's effort. That's why we usually are very committed in January and Feb, and by March we're driving to Krispy Kreme every week. So what we need to do is find things that we actually enjoy. If you are someone who likes nature, something like bird watching or even walking the dog or even just gardening can be that form of exercise, as long as it is an activity that gets you up and gets you moving. It doesn't have to be running the 10K every morning or training for the comrades. So what I usually do in lockdown, and especially on the days where I'm feeling really low, is I would literally walk around my block once, and I will make sure that I walk in my garden, and wherever I see a little weed, I'll pluck it out and make sure that I'm just walking around in my garden. I'm active for at least 20 minutes. If you are lucky and fortunate enough to live in an area where you are close to the ocean, a stroll along the promenade is more than enough. Or if you can just get outside and get some fresh air. On days where it's raining, it's of course a little bit more difficult to stay active because then we just want to stay in bed. But if you can literally stand in front of your TV while watching your favorite series, and every time they say a certain word, you do one squat, that is fine. By the end of the series, you would have found 20 minutes of activity.
That's actually such a good idea.
Yeah. So I used to do it with Friends, the TV show.
Yes.
And that's when I was just starting to get into exercise, and I absolutely hated gym. And every time I giggle for something, I would literally do one squat and one lunge with each leg. And every time I giggled, and if you know anything about me, I can binge watch a series in an entire night. I can finish a season for you. So without even knowing, by the third or fourth episode, you've already been active for more than an hour. So that's always a great way to just start making exercise fun for you, because it doesn't have to be the soul draining thing that kills you, because it's supposed to be something that benefits your health, something that makes you feel good about yourself, and something that inspires you to do better and be better. And just one thing, lastly, that I also do just to help myself get into a positive mood for exercise is we have this idea that when we exercise, we have to put on our worst clothing item possible, our most stretched out t-shirt, our most worn out shorts, and those are our draf shorts. And we only wear those clothing items when we go and exercise. So I made a conscious choice of every morning when I wake up to exercise, I put on nice, comfortable clothing that makes me feel good. And every now and then when I can afford to, I go and I buy a couple of cheap T-shirts at my favorite store and some nice running jocks. And I know that those items of clothing are only for exercise. I have tackies that are just for exercise. Because when you put on clothing in which you feel good, in which you feel comfortable, you don't look at yourself in the mirror and sigh. Whenever you have ill-fitting clothing or clothing that makes you look bigger than you are, or you've got your most worn-out tackies, whenever you look in the mirror, you already have that negative mindset about you that nothing's sitting in the place where it's supposed to sit. But when we wear clothing that is just for exercise, that we actually like, and clothing that we actually look good in, you look in the mirror and you go, you know what, I can do this. I can be active for 20 minutes. So, and sometimes that 20 minutes feels like you're staring at the countdown of a microwave, and it feels like forever. But once you are done, the feel-good effect afterwards is so worth it.
Yeah, and also, you know, it's that never-ending cycle. Look good, feel good, look good, look good, feel good. That's it. Very important. I love that. That's a very, very good tip there. And also, I really like that tip you gave us about the TV show and the words, especially Friends. It must be so much fun watching Friends with you.
Well, I don't know if other people might enjoy lunging and doing squats at every word, because the thing is, I select the word. So
Yes.
it depends. I think if I have someone who is training with me, I would probably choose a word like and or the, so that we
that's
do it
hectic.
constantly.
Ja, maar ek was 'n bietjie bekommerd geweest aan die begin. Gelukkig het jy gesê friends en nie sewende laan nie.
Well, then you can say that every time a new character enters the show, you do a lunge, because that happens quite often.
Oh, that's so good, Louw. That's brilliant and very true. Very true, actually.
Yeah, 10 squats for every new actor that comes in the series. Then you know.
Yo. Louw, thank you so much. That was brilliant. Once again, thank you for your time and good to have you on the show. And yes, just tell us, are you still doing the social media chat on a Friday?
I am. We actually started now in Feb, which I'm really glad about, because I think I was driving myself a bit insane with my own company. So every Friday at 5 p.m., others can join in into my company on the Louwdown. It's on Instagram at Louw Breytenbach 02, and there we just chat for 15 or 20 minutes live about mental health and the issues surrounding mental health. And of course, because it's live, people are also welcome to ask questions and engage. And if I can't answer the questions myself, I'll always refer them to a trained professional who can.
That sounds good. So that's on your Instagram account every Friday.
That's it, yes. So they can just pop down to Louw Breytenbach 02 and then join the live chat there.
Brilliant. Louw, thank you so much. Next week we're talking about...
Sorry, you had me caught there for a moment. And the reason you had me caught is because I was doing exactly the opposite of what we are talking about next week.
Oh, you weren't
and next
being...
week we are talking mindful. Next week we are talking about mindfulness and staying in the moment. And you caught me so off guard now when my mind was wandering
Got
to
you.
something completely different.
Got you, Louw. Got
yes,
you.
Next week, yes, no, definitely. This is prime advice. It gives me a week to prepare on working on my own mindfulness.
Yeah, it's so important.
Yes, next week, next week we chat about how to stay in the moment.
Cool. Bye, dankie, Louw. Until next week.
Thank you so much. Have a good one.
You too.